BRB Blazer.
So I have Gurley on my list. I threw him at 12. I was kind of debating on who to throw in at 12 on my list. There's a handful of guys. There was like a Josh Jacobs, Miles Sanders. We'll touch on him in a second. Thought about him. I did not think of Aaron Jones, honestly. But I'm just the Aaron Jones hater on the podcast. It's all good. But I just wanted to throw Gurley on here because I just kind of wanted to get your guys' input and just kind of, talk about him, as far as for the listeners and whatnot. But I love the situation here for Gurley. I think, he goes back home to Atlanta. He played his college in Georgia, so he's back in Atlanta, Georgia. He only signs a 1-year, $6 million deal. So he's, compared to, a year or two ago where he was, getting paid $15 million a year. He became the highest paid running back in the league. Now he's only getting paid $6 million. You got guys like Drake, for instance, getting paid more than him. So he's on a 1-year prove it deal. But he's tied to one of the most explosive offenses in the entire NFL. You got Matt Ryan, who's thrown for 300 plus yards. I think it was 11 games last year. You got Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley. They trade for Hayden Hurst. This is going to be a good offense here, and I just think that they have really no ties to Gurley. So if they, one thing last year with the Rams is that they wanted to monitor his workload. What is that called? Where they do with the NBA players, the
load management.
Load management. So they were like load management with him, but it's like
load management built up.
But it's like the Falcons have no real ties to him after this year, so there's going to be zero load management here. So if they want to feed him the ball 350 times, then and then his knees buckle at the end of the year, who cares? They're only paying him for 1 year. They're only tied to him for 1 year. So, Devontae Freeman didn't have the greatest year last year, but still was top 10 in terms of targets for running backs. Last year they drafted 2 first-round offensive linemen. One of them who got hurt, he was out for the entire year. So, those guys will just, you would like to believe that those guys will just be better. That offensive line will be better this year. So I just think that, Gurley's kind of he has a sour taste in people's mouth. People are like, oh, Gurley, what I'm saying? So he'll fall to that second, third round. But, he's a guy where I think he's going to want to come out and show hey, I'm still Todd Gurley. Give me the ball 300 plus times in the year and I'm going to fucking produce.
Yeah, he's I didn't have him on there because I didn't have a full thought on him yet. I didn't have his load management level yet. I just like that word.
Which one?
Todd Gurley. To your point, this is a good offense. I mean, the Falcons, they have to be a good offense because their defense sucks every year. So it's they are usually a top 5 scoring offense. So there's that fed into it. So, if the Falcons are gonna be chasing every game too, I would like to say he's not going to get a game scripted out. As of right now, with the backs that are there, he's probably not. His efficiency in the passing game was a little worse than last year. Just the routes per target, the drops. He had 9 or 10 drops last year.
Yeah.
So it was number 1 for all running backs. Just that passing game efficiency, elusiveness, all those stats are down. So it's he's got a knee.
He's got the knee.
He's got the knee. So there is something with that. But I can't ignore that knee.
No, for sure.
That's why I don't think they can go out there and run him into the ground 300 times. I think he'll break down. The knee will break down.
Yeah,
it won't hold up. But to jump back to some positives on him is this is a high scoring offense. One thing he still was last year is efficient in the red zone, and one thing he's always been is efficient in the red zone. Now the Falcons are a pass heavy team. They're usually top 5 in passing, but he's still going to get his carries. But I just don't think with the way they run that offense. And if they're chasing a lot, he's going to be that 20 per carry game guy. It's going to be more 14, 13, 15. And then the passing game we've yet to see. But the touchdown upside it's really high with the Falcons. So that's why it's I don't have a full take on him yet. He's in my 12, 13, 14 range. So kind of all I got on him for now. I don't have a real full take on him. I'm looking at him you motherfucker, I don't know yet. I don't know. But it's I like him to in the same range that we all kind of like him, 12, 13, 14. But it's just I don't have a full load management on my mind yet.
He just wanted to say load management.
Of course. I mean, I don't like him as much as you guys probably do, but I mean, like you said, he has a nose for the end zone. What do you have? He still had double-digit touchdowns again last year at 14.
Yeah.
So
like that.
When you're in a high-powered offense. With him, you don't need to put him inside the 5. You can, and he can catch, so you can run screens. He can run out. You can motion him out of the backfield, so he'll still probably get his tugs. He's not obviously going to be like vintage Gurley, but I mean, he's in a good offense. So that's why I like him a little bit, at least, up there as far as like top 15. Because the Falcons should score points with Julio and Calvin Ridley. So I think he'll still eat, but we'll see how that knee holds up. I mean, maybe the Falcons don't baby him like the Rams did, Maybe the Falcons only want him for a year and they're like, fuck it, let's see what we can get out of him, So maybe he'll get those touches. But his nose for the red zone alone and the way he can catch out of the backfield should keep him up there. Just you know what I mean, off that alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if he's tied to a high scoring offense, and he's got, 40, 50 catches in there and he's got that 12 to 15 carries, he's going to have the week-to-week safety just because that offense is scoring so many points that, he might get a week where he gets 7 carries for 40 yards and 2 catches for 20, but he got in the end zone that week because this offense is scoring so many touchdowns. So, like I said, I haven't made up a full mind, but I like Gurley. I think he's someone, depending on ADP, where he might end up being a value potentially, where
for sure, yeah,
or where everyone just sees Gurley Falcons and they take him in like the end of the first, second round.
Yeah, I guess I could go either someone who's super hyped, kind of like me, or some people might be like, "Oh, Gurley's he's a bust." Like, I'm not touching him.
It's like Highlander. There only needs to be one, or there can only be one.
Yeah.
All you need is one guy. To take
I love it. I think it's the perfect scenario. Playing on turf too. We sometimes they say kind of turf helps these certain players, but yeah, I'm all in. I'm trying to get as many Gurley shirts. I know it's early, but I'm right now. I'm planning on trying to get as many Gurley shirts, unless he does shit like this and falls down at the fucking 3. Touchdown, but that actually cost me. You know why I got mad? Because it actually cost me a win. I remember that.
So
I remember exactly.
He should be dead to you.
No, he's not, because you fucking crushed it for me that year. But I just think it's like one of those scenarios where, sometimes we say, depending on where this player goes, it can impact this player's value. And I think he went to like the dream scenario spot to where he could go. And like I said, he's on a 1-year deal. It's only $6 million. He is getting $7 million from the Rams as well, so he's making 13 total million. But I mean, if he wants to get like another, good little payday, he's gonna have to put up some numbers. So I think, mentally, he's gonna have to want to put up some numbers. And like I said, the Falcons have no ties to him. So if they run him into the ground and his knee buckles after 8 games, who cares? But but for those 8 games, I think they feed him into the ground.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I feel about the Titans too.
Yeah,
that's why he might be good. Like, he might be one of those guys you draft and then he balls a couple weeks and you sell him and get some shit out of.
Could be for sure.